Folks, well the other day I played a set of folk songs and afterwards somebody came up to me and they said, have you heard the story about the naked highwaymen? Which I thought was a bit strange, and I thought, well, there's got to be a song there, hasn't there? And I looked it up and sure enough there was a group called the Cherhill Gang who had this brilliant idea that they would cause more fear and alarm if they took all their clothes off, painted themselves white and ambushed people. And they also figured that it would be a good disguise. I don't quite get that bit, but hey. So I've had a little fool around with the story and I was thinking to myself, what would happen if it was a particularly cold evening when they were out doing their highway robbery? This is a song called the Cherhill Gang. On the downs there were robbers who waited for days till a stagecoach came by with a lady and maids. They carried some money and plenty of jewels, and the highwaymen saw them and started to drool. To cause more alarm and disguise all their faces, they took off their shirts and their breeches and braces. They wore some white paint, but it started to rain. It was more than their ardour which started to wane. There was Jimmy and Billy, and up front was Willy, who fired the very first shot. But it didn't go off as the lever was locked, or maybe his pistol was only half-cocked. And then came a shout and the robbers leapt out, wearing nothing but what they were born in. They needed some loot and the victim they'd shoot before they went home in the morning. The lady looked out from her carriage, oh my, she shrieked as a pistol had just caught her eye. If that is your weapon, I think it's quite dead, she said, and poor Willy was blushing bright red. There was Jimmy and Billy, and up front was Willy, who fired the very first shot. But it didn't go off as the lever was locked, or maybe his pistol was only half-cocked. And then for no reason at all, I'm throwing in a limerick. Free and for nothing. Is Madam from Bristol, said Bill, waving his pistol and staring quite hard at her chest. Oh no, we're from Bath, she said with a laugh, and clearly she wasn't impressed. Billy looked down at his manhood in shock and saw something small where there'd once been their cunning distraction now had a new slant they couldn't foresee when they took off their pants. The gang then retreated. They hadn't the guts in the cold. They weren't clever, just shriveled old nuts. The moonlight was bright, and oh what a sight as their backsides went wobbling into the night. Jimmy and Billy, and up front was Willy, who fired the very first shots. But it didn't go off as the lever was locked, or maybe his pistol was only half-cocked. The lady continued along on her way with a story to tell all her friends the next day, and proudly she stood up, so tall and erect, unlike the poor robbers whose plans had been wrecked. She called on the sheriff, said it was silly they'd been stopped on the road by a Bill and his Willy. They said that the men wore some kind of disguise,